So once again, hello to everyone who is already connected. And it's my great pleasure to welcome you on today's webinar about Easy Redmine 2019. Let me introduce myself. My name is Slavek. I'm running the sales team at Easy Software. Today presenter will be my colleague Lukáš Hubka.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on from where you're joining. Nice to meet you all.
Very well. A couple of information about this webinar before we start. The whole webinar is planned for like an hour, but the presentation is designed for like 30 minutes. Where Lukáš will be presenting you the news in Easy Redmine 2019. During the presentation and after the presentation will be space for your questions. If you would like to place a question, please use the button Q&A down in the bar of the webinar tool, and place your questions here. I will be responding the questions during Lukáš speech, so you can get answer, I hope, pretty quickly. Once the presentation is finished, we will look into the questions and answer all the rest verbally. Please don't send questions to chat. It's basically impossible to get organized in what is answered and what's not. Use Q&A. I think that's it. So next 30 minutes, Lukáš show, then your questions and answers answered verbally. Lukáš, the stage is yours.
Perfect. Thank you, Slavek. So once again, hello to everybody joining in. Hello to everybody in the future who's going to be joining in through our recording that we're going to upload later. First things first, we highly encourage everybody to go into our website, easyredmine.com, and open a trial account if you do not have that already. Do that after the webinar though, do not leave us just yet. But by the way, we have done this webinar last week, so some of these things might be pretty common or similar or familiar to people that have joined us last week actually, so just keep that in mind. If you will have any questions that we will not be able to address during the webinar, just email info@easyredmine.com. We will be able to help you that way. From my side, what I will be looking at is to find like a good balance between short and informative presentation, because I don't want to go too much into detail, but I also want you to know about all these things that new Easy Redmine is going to bring. So first things first, I'm going to start sharing my screen right now. Just like you're going to do, I've opened a trial account before this webinar actually through our website. So I'm going to be using that. So if you're going to open your own, you will probably learn or quickly find out that plenty of these things I'm going to talk about, you can actually try for yourself. First thing I'm going to talk about is our resource management, because what we generally do is we started listening to our clients multiple years ago, depending on their requirements, their questions, things that we have been asked for multiple times. One of these things, and I'm going to be using Konstantin Consultant as my proof of example. One of these things were that if you actually created a task with an Easy Redmine that had 0 hours as an estimated time, you were not able to see it within the resource management table. What we have done now is we have actually enabled this option. So for example, these two tasks, those two all the way in the bottom, these two are actually with 0 hours, still showing up within the resource management table. You can obviously double click and start adding hours if you want to, just like many of you might be used to within the resource management. If you're not familiar with this tool, there's plenty of information on our website that goes across all our plugins. Or once again, reach out to our support team, and one of our respective account managers will help you out. But one more thing that is actually pretty crucial within resource management, at least for me personally, it's something that we have been asked for, are reservations. Reservations in Easy Redmine resource management can be created very simply. You just click and drag and drop, for example, here. Now what I'm doing is I'm pretty much saying that I want to book Konstantin Consultant within the month of August. And if I let go of the mouse button, I will call this reservation. I can define a specific project that's going to be like the point of discussion here. And I can also start talking about the estimated time. So I can either say that, okay, I will need 20 hours of Konstantin's time throughout the August, or I can just go into the percentage and say, I'll just need half of his time. Those times are taken from the maximum allocation, and the maximum allocation can be defined within administration section of Easy Redmine. It is based on the capacity of the employee, whether or not he's working full time or if he's a part-time worker. Or you can also sort of adjust this, or play around with attendance, sick leaves, vacations. All these things obviously play into this, and you can obviously type in some text as well. So yo, I will need you in August. Just like that, a reservation is made, and this tends to be pretty important across our client base, because there can be a certain example when you know that you're going to need certain resource or certain user to work with you within a certain period of time, but you may not have a task created for it. You might not have everything prepared into detail as you wish to have. So for these purposes, reservations are very, very important, and I'm sure those are going to come in handy for plenty of our clients in the future. So that's what I wanted to demonstrate within the resource management. Now to the other part. As you can see, I've already prepared a couple of tabs at the top of the page, so I don't have to wait through the loading. Now the easy scheduler or easy scheduler, depending on where are you from actually, is something that we added not so long ago, and now we are sort of coming out of the beta version, and we can present the full easy scheduler to work with. Now the question is, how important is a calendar? And from my point of view, this question is very rhetorical, because for me, calendar is something that I work with every day, and I would be surprised if this wouldn't be common across our client base or across generally working people once we speak of it. So for this, we always recommend to have this particular module or a plugin sort of pinned to the homepage, because generally when you have your users or your employees, once they log into your Easy Redmine, you want to make sure that the calendar is one of the first things they will see, so they can effectively plan their agenda, not only in terms of events like meetings and things like attendance, but also nowadays with tasks as well. So what I can do here is, as you can see on the left side, I have a sort of a backlog of my tasks or of tasks that I can assign. And just by dragging and dropping, I can start adding them in. So for example, the first one, default task, I can drag and drop it into my calendar and thus sort of book my time, start planning my agenda, allowing me the understanding of what am I supposed to be doing, for example, during Wednesday or Thursday. It's not really important which day, right? So this is something that I can do. Or you can also not only work with individuals like yourselves, but you can also start introducing other people into Easy Scheduler as well. So I've been using Konstantin, so let's just keep using him. I will add Konstantin here. So in case he would have some meetings already planned, I would see them on the Easy Scheduler right now. Or if I want to start planning these events for this person, I can just click on him here to sort of highlight him, as represented by the tick. And then I can start assigning these tasks to this person in particular. So I can assign test task to Konstantin for Tuesday. And obviously this is well integrated with the rest of the system. So if I'm going to do this, it's going to also show up in the resource management. Konstantin will receive email notifications. All these things that Easy Redmine users are used to are definitely present by using the Easy Scheduler as well. One more thing you can definitely utilize well are filters on the top of the page. So if, for example, if your backlog on the left side is just a bit too long, you have like 50 tasks assigned to you, waiting for you to reassign it to your team, you can then create additional filters that will help you sort of analyze or narrow down the search of tasks that you are currently looking for. Or if you just don't want to work with these tasks or the backlog altogether, you can just switch back to Lucas here, and I can just drag and drop here on the calendar, and I can create a new entity. As you can see, I can create a new attendance sort of entity or attendance entry. So I can log a sick day, I can log vacation, home office, depending on your settings within the administration. I can create a new meeting, or I can create a new task. anything that you will be really looking for within this calendar view will be available through this particular plugin. So that's something that we will always recommend to have on your home pages, but you can also have that pinned to your project dashboard as well. So one good example is you have a project, you want to create a sort of a homepage for the project, and you can stick the Easy Scheduler to the homepage and add all the meetings in that relate to this particular project. So anyone that's going to access it will immediately know what's been going on within this particular, bunch of work that you want to be focusing on. So this would be for the Easy Scheduler. Once again, we will be more than happy for your questions. We will be more than happy to show you this within our demos that we do in sales. So by all means, reach out to info@easyredmine.com and one of our account managers will get back to you. I will move forward to one of the projects and to a plugin we call the WBS, which stands for Work Breakdown Structure. We internally call it the Mind Maps plugin for obvious reasons, because it gives you this sort of overview where you can, through drag and drop in, do whatever changes you wish to the project itself. I don't want to go too much into detail. Just keep in mind that this plugin is sort of designed to define a scope of the project, to break it down into deliverables, and overall get a great idea of what you want to do within the project before moving forward to the Gantt chart, resource management, and going into detail and going into detailed planning. What we have added recently is a cost breakdown structure, which is represented by this button on the top of the diagram. So if I click that, it will show the implementation with our finance module, which will allow you to not only look at the scope of the project from this point of view, from the mind map point of view, but you're quickly able to understand what is the overall cost of the project, broken down into sub-project tasks, subtasks, and you should be able to quickly analyze which part of the project is going to cost you the most, whether or not you're sort of going over budget at some cases or in some parts of the system. And for this, we definitely recommend to use it in this way, because we have once again added this feature because we had plenty of clients asking for it. So from what we've learned, it's a very desired function that we're happy to introduce you now. Just keep in mind that within Easy Redmine, you will need to have the finance module and also the WBS module in order to have this functionality. If you just have one of those, you will not be able to get this particular feature. So once again, it's a great idea to reach out, talk further about this, figure out if it makes sense for you to add one of those two plugins or even both to get this particular functionality. Now, moving on. Another feature that we focused on when delivering and sort of upgrading Easy Redmine to Easy Redmine 2019 is our help desk. Our help desk along with the resource management, has always been one of the go-to plugins, one of those that our users have admired, quote unquote, the most. Now, with help desk, we've come with a few additions and a few improvements. One of those will be SLAs, so we have much better reporting of service level agreements. We have also added the feature of first response time, because our clients and we as well want to keep track of the time between the reception of the ticket and the first response, which actually is not automatic. So for these purposes, it's very important, and obviously it's extremely important in terms of reporting later, because you want to make sure that your support team is doing a good job, right? That's what generally needs to happen in today's age, where you have plenty of companies and a huge competitor list. So you want to make sure that your support team is actually doing their job. Now, the other thing that we added to help desk are personalized home pages and personalized dashboards. I think I can demonstrate this if I switch into a different role, and I will switch to a help desk operator, for example. What this is going to do, and you can do this for yourselves, is you take the trial account and you switch between different roles that we have predefined within our account that will allow you to see the customized views and see the personalization that you are able to achieve with Easy Redmine. So right here, I've switched into the help desk operator role. And as you can see, the whole user interface changed. So the top panel changes, the homepage itself, along with these tabs, all of this is going to change. And by no means is it fixed. Like, it's entirely up to you to redefine this user interface and make sure it actually suits your company And it gets me to one of the biggest advantages of using Redmine in general, the flexibility. Now, this has nothing to do with the source code. Pretty much 99.9% of changes I'm going to be talking about here can be achieved through the easy Redmine interface, so you don't have to be a developer. All you need to do is go to the administration section. And if you will have any issues, we also have a team of consultants, product experts that will be happy to help you. We'll be happy to deliver an onboarding service or a full implementation service along with training. So once again, just feel free to reach out if you need help with setting up your help desk, and we'll be happy to get back to you. Same goes for these home pages. If you would like to use one of our home pages, we're happy to share them. If you would like us to design your own, reach out. I will switch back to the project manager role, and I will start talking about all those business dashboards and customizations, filters, and reports that we currently have in Easy Redmine. So I'm going to go to the help desk module here. When talking about creating custom reports and filters, I'm not just talking about home pages per individual user. You can once again create home pages for projects. You can also create home pages for modules. So right here, I'm looking at the dashboard which is created for the help desk module. That's a sort of a centralized point where anybody from the company can go to and sort of get a clear overview of what's been going on within your particular project or within your particular help desk. Now here, I think I'm just going to define one of these projects. So what I'm looking at here is a very simple report, very simple statistics across all my tickets, across my help desk in general. Once again, completely redefinable. You will see that if I change the project and I will choose one of this one, special client project, and apply, you will see that I'm getting much more in detail. So I can either take a look across the whole application that I have, or I can go per project, or I can go per user, for example, or per period here. So I could also define the time. What I'm going to do here is, I think I can go, for example, for myself. So let's go me. Let's see if there are any results. As you can see, I have one unassigned ticket, one open one, and I have already violated one SLA within this particular trial account. This is especially important. So if you're sitting down behind your desk as a help desk manager and you want to get a clear overview of your team, you don't have to search for this information manually. You can just go one assignee from another and just go one by one, giving you a clear understanding of who's doing their job good and who's slacking a little bit, which is always a great way for you to understand how your company is doing, in particular, understand KPIs, understand your profitability, whatever you're going to really focus on. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch into a different part of the system, but I'm going to focus on the same thing. I'm going to focus on business dashboards, on reporting. Now I've been looking into help desk. For example, if I open statistics here, I will get statistics across help desk. But it's very possible that you will look for a different entity or for a different report. So let's say I will be much more interested in attendance. So I'll go into attendance, and once again, we have predefined this view that you don't have to stick to, but you can use with a couple of sort of basic information I can go through, whether that's, the attendance itself, how much time one particular person spent in office, on home office, was sick, whatever. All these entities, once again, you can define for yourself, and some basic graphs and charts and calendars that will once again help you analyze what's been going on within your company. If I switch to someone, let's say Dolly developer, I think we have some data for Dolly here. You can see that I get the very same view, but numbers change because now I'm not looking at all my users. I'm looking at Dolly in particular. I get the report of Dolly. If I'm looking for a different report, let's say I'm looking for myself, Lucas, I can do that as well. And I can quickly tell that during the last 90 days, I've spent 73.75 hours at the office, but I've spent much more time at home office. So apparently I'm one of the people that like to work from home, and I have not been sick for the last 90 days, which is always a good sign. But once again, this is only attendance. If I want to go into a different part of the system, let's say I'm going to start looking into money, incomes, expenses, rates, wages, all these things. I can once again go and switch into budget statement. Once again, a great overview that allows me to keep working with all the data and give me great examples. So I'm looking at the budget itself. I can either take a look at how the company has been doing in terms of, earnings or revenues and expenses. I can, let's say, use one of these tabs on the top panel and go into personal costs and just look to break this down into particular people. So let's say I'm interested in Danny developer. I think we have some data for Danny. So once again, if I want to know how much Danny cost the company, like, throughout the certain period of time, I can just go into Danny and get a great understanding of how much time he cost or how much time he reported, what's the cost of that spent time that he logged within Easy Redmine, so on and so forth. The options or the amount of options that we have through these plugins and through these features, that really goes beyond what I can explain to you during this meeting. That's why I keep encouraging you to ask your questions and to get back to us, because what we are talking about here on these webinars, those are generic examples, something that we have gathered from our clients, but we can only understand that you have your own ideas, you have your own requirements. So by all means, reach out to us, we can talk. One of the another additions that we brought in Easy Redmine 2019 is something we call a Devops Bundle, because we want to make sure that our Easy Redmine can actually support all the developers out there. And us, being software developers ourselves, it's something that we're very good at, and it's something where we really understand what needs to be done in order to make sure Easy Redmine supports all these things very well. Now, there's going to be multiple things. We have some that are already present, like test cases or requirements management. Those plugins we have had for a while. We're going to add more things like Git integration or diagrams. And diagrams is actually something I want to talk about here. Now, if you will have any questions about this one, once again, we will start implementing this within the next few weeks or months. So feel free to reach out. Now let's talk about diagrams themselves. I think I'm going to just open one of the tasks in this particular project just to show you what that is. If I go with certification policy, that's going to be just fine. Right now, I'm at the breakdown of the particular task. Once again, you can explore all of this for yourself, but what I want to do is create a new diagram. And where you can do that is right here, this diagram button. This is something that might not be crucial for every single people joining in, but it's definitely super handy to have. And you would be surprised how many occasions will sort of present themselves where you will be able to use this and actually get a good value out of it. Now I've quickly created a new diagram right before this webinar. This is, once again, very simple and very intuitive. So for example, if I want to add a new box, I'll just click here. I can move it however I want. If I want to add arrows in between them, I can do that as well. Now this feature might seem very simple and everybody might think, okay, I'm able to do this with plenty of tools. Well, yes, you can, but with this way, you have it in Easy Redmine. It's already integrated with the rest of the system. If I go ahead and save it, it's going to be saved within the particular task, so I can actually attach it to it. I don't have to go creating screenshots. I don't have to creating new folders where I will be saving my diagrams. All of it will be available right away within your trial account. So once again, go into one particular task, hit update. Right here you have the diagram button, open a trial account, existing one or a new one, go there, play around with diagrams, let us know how it felt. If you have some feedback, let us know and we will be happy to address it. So go ahead and do that. Now, one of the last parts that I would like to talk about is actually our business intelligence feature or plugin. Now, if I open this more menu, you are able to find it on the very bottom. And it sort of goes back to what I've been talking about when I was talking about those filters for attendance, filters for budgets or money expenses, or filters for help desk. It's just another way how to make sure that our users have as many options as possible. Because our platform, a few years ago, it was pretty simple, but now we have plenty of plugins, so you can really take Easy Redmine and turn it into a full-scale solution, a centralized tool where you can work with projects, tasks, your sales stuff like within the CRM. You can use our help desk, resource management. You can keep track of your money within the finance module. So the amount of data our clients are putting into Easy Redmine is nothing to laugh at. So we thought okay, we don't want to force them to keep integrating Easy Redmine with business intelligence platform. that sort of gets tricky. You know, integrations can take a lot of time. It might not always work. Instead, we thought, let's give them an option with an easy Redmine that's gonna, will not be on par with all those huge business intelligence softwares out there. But, plenty of clients do not need that. They are just happy with simple reporting across the full database. So that's what we're doing with our business intelligence thing that we have in Easy Redmine. As you can see, once again, we have multiple tabs for overall incomes, expenses, personal costs, or if I just go here, maybe that's going to be a little different. Okay, that's actually a little different. So we have a few tabs for company, countries, product, users, projects, CRM. Once again, few examples that we work with, few examples that we have in our Easy Redmine. I can see you having your own. I can see you, playing around with this, coming up with your ideas. But let's say that if I'm looking across the whole company, I want to have a good understanding of, how much does this cost the company? How much do all the people cost the company? What's the profitability or overall, improvement when it comes to the amount of people we have and the revenues they can bring the company all together? What are my rentabilities? All these things can be addressed through the business intelligence plugins. And you can also get other things into it. Like, if you're working with Google AdWords and you have your campaigns running on Google, you can once again get all of that into Easy Redmine and then get like a great understanding of what's your marketing ROI in this case. Or if you do not need that, just go ahead and delete this part of the business intelligence section and just add a part which will suit your company much more. I can go once again into countries, for example. If you're a global company like Easy Software and you do business with pretty much any country that is that exists within the planet itself, you want to understand in which part of the world you're doing the best and in which part of the world you might have to look to improve upon. So for these purposes, the business intelligence plugin is extremely important. This part is very straightforward, and for you, it will be easy to grasp and easy to understand. So once again, open a trial account, go into more, scroll down, business intelligence, just play around with this. It will give you a lot of ideas what you can do with Easy Redmine. And if you will not be able to set it up yourselves, reach out to us. So from my point of view, these features are the most important improvements that we currently have in Easy Redmine. Obviously, there's plenty others that you can address or that you can see within Easy Redmine. I just don't want to go through the full roadmap and go point by point. So for existing users, open a trial account, play around with that. If we have any existing users that are currently hosted in on our server within the cloud solution, you can keep in mind that we will automatically update your version into the Easy Redmine 2019 by default. So just stay tuned and wait until we roll this out, because we're doing cycles, making sure that when we release the version, there will be no bugs, that everything will go smooth. Or you can just go and let's type Easy Redmine 2019. And I think this one, yep. Just type in Easy Redmine 2019, scroll through this landing page. It's gonna give you a lot of information about what we brought into Easy Redmine, what we implemented, and maybe it will give you a lot of ideas about what are our plans for the future as well. So yeah, from my side of the table, I think I went through most of the things I wanted to go through. I think I addressed all those improvements that we introduced with Easy Redmine. So from my point of view, I think it's time to take a look at the Q&A section if we have any questions there, which we actually have not. So Slavik did a good job.
Right, there were not too many. I answered like 6 questions. Maybe we can look into them because it was some of them were interesting. I would just maybe add to what Lukáš was presenting is that on this landing page, which is linked directly from actually the main page of easyredmine.com, right? There is also link to detailed changelog, right? So we were focusing, Lukáš was focused on the most important changes, but as this is a big release, there are a lot of other minor stuff to basically all modules and plugins of our software. So if you are interested to see also the details, it's available online as well. Just scroll down the landing page of 2019 version news, and there is a link to a full changelog. Right. So we received some questions. So let me go back. Let me go back to those we have open here. Thomas Moore, is there a way to use Internet Explorer? I believe the only last version of Internet Explorer is supported. There is a statement of our web page. It's in a FAQ. Lukáš, do you know what is that?
I'm not sure if it's in the FAQ, but I know that we recently received an email that we will discontinue supporting Internet Explorer.
Right. At the same time, I can say I'm Edge user, me personally, and Easy Redmine just works fine in Easy Redmine. If you say the Internet Explorer is discontinued, and so it might work. I use that, but we can't guarantee that all UX experience will be as designed. But if you have Edge, Edge is fully supported even for mobile devices. So if you have some Windows 10 tablet or such, it shall work just fine with Edge. I'm using that. Right. We had an interesting question here about if I have some expenses, already set in the project, if they can be linked to a task. Yes, they can. I was describing that if you go to detail of the expense from the project budgets, there is a option create to, which has two options. So it's the expense which relates to whole project or relates to a task. If you see the task, then it means then you can select which task this already created expense relates to. I'm solving here some questions from Carlos Santamaria. They can't see the created to. I can't answer right this now if it is that you are looking into old trial or if you are looking into 2019 version. If you look into the project with budgets and 2019 version, it has to be there. So Carlos, we will help you offline. Okay, please make a note. Lukáš, Carlos, Santa Maria, we should help to show how does it work with the expenses in particular. Definitely we will solve it, but this is not actually the right auditorium here to go into such detail. Right, so this one is done. This one is also, how do I do this? Answer live. Okay, so we answered that. Mari, I have some question from Mari that something is not working. Mari, I can't help like this. You have to be more specific. It definitely works. We are here to help, but it's not working. It's not a statement I can handle here and in this auditorium. So I'm sorry, I have to move to another question. Linda Pagano, I'm already a customer. Are all these enhancements already available, or do I need to download and update to see them? For example, I'm still not able to see the reservations feature. Very good question. This 2019 release is already out. So I don't know if you are if we are our cloud client, you shall be able to see them right now because the clouds are already updated to 2019 version. If you are running Easy Redmine on your own server and you are using resource management, then this feature you need just maybe to update your server, and simply you can do that through the client zone. So if you have paid updates, then you can download the new versions, and after installations you will see the reservation. Very similar is the situation with For example, the cost breakdown structure, which was showed by Lukáš. If you have the finance management and if you have the work breakdown structure, once you update to the 2019 version, this feature automatically appears to you. Different situation is that with scheduler, as scheduler is licensed separately. So if you like the scheduler, that's one of the things you may extend your installation and purchase this feature. So Linda, if you don't know what to do, again, contact us. We can help you with your particular case, but if you, I'm guessing you are on-premise customer, so you may just go to your client zone and download the latest version and run it. So I will consider this as answered question. And yeah, Carlos, thank you. Yusuf, can you convert a reservation directly to a task? You can link it to task. Am I correct, right? Because I mean, the purpose of reservation is that you are reserving the time without having, you know, detailed decomposition of projects and, you know, to allocate specific things to that. But the reservation then can be linked to a task, right? It cannot be converted. It can be linked to a task. So if you later on create some task and you would like to connect it with this one, you can do that. Correct, Lukáš? You're checking, right?
Yeah, I'm checking. Not sure about linking it to a task. You can definitely add it to a particular project if you want to keep it like within
project for sure. Project for sure. Yeah, but I thought also task is possible.
Not within the reservation view. Maybe if I go into a particular task and take a look, but it's definitely something that's worth reviewing internally. Like it might not hurt to have the
actually good hint, Yusuf. Good hint. Seems that this is not there. This is not there, but it's actually it's a good hint from your side. We'll definitely consider this. Right. So I will consider this as an answered. Right. We have some discussion here with our partner Christopher. Right, that's more like advice. I would maybe rather go to another question which I heard from Christopher. He was asking if the VBS can be used also to show prices, right? Maybe to some client if you are planning some project. And I was checking out, and basically one of the visualizations you can take in WBS is planned incomes, and this planned incomes visualization shall work with external rates. So if you are working properly with internal, meaning cost rates, and external, meaning revenue rates, and if you, for example, decompose the projects, put everywhere estimated time, and you would like to use the VBS as a way how to present the project and its cost to your client, it shall work as well. So this is interesting thing which we discussed during the presentation with Christopher. And it looks we have some new things coming in. From Christoph Braun, in documents, how can I make more folders to keep documentation better organized and give a hierarchical access to this documentation? Right. If you use the standard documents on projects, you can create folders, and these folders can be linked to a categories, right? And these categories are doable in the thing that the category can limit access based on the user role or user type. I'm not sure about that now. And so this is the way how you can work with access to different type of the documents which are on the project. So you can create more categories, if you like, manage the access to these categories, and these folders can work with the can be defined as that this folder belongs to category. There is no like multi, or let's say really tree drill down structure of documents in standard documents. This feature is in a module DMS, which allows you know, complete web dev and approval of documents, and the traditional tree structure of documents, like you know from Internet Explorer. Sorry, just a file explorer. So I am not sure that that the EasyRedmine is able to really cover that completely, because this hierarchical access is I don't know if our categories would fit your needs, but we are happy again to have a look on that and go very detailed by that. But there is a way how to divide or how to manage access to documents on project. If it is good enough, I can't say. We will show offline. Right, my pleasure, Christoph. All right. I would encourage everyone to Christopher is asking us, he's saying that the dashboard query feature is really cool, and asking if can we use any attribute for this. I don't think so, right? There is if you are talking about these global filters, which is, you know, filtering whole the dashboard, there are some entities based on which you can filter. There is not all of them, right? But it should be all which makes basic sense. Yeah, because so there is basically there is no query for, I don't know.
I can show how to get there if that helps.
Yeah, please do. That's actually
Okay.
important feature, this one.
Sharing my screen. So I'll just save this real quick. Okay, so let's say I'm at this particular page and I want to play around with this part, which is what I feel like was the question. You have to scroll down, hit customize this page, bottom left side of the page itself. And here, if you want to play with the very first row I showed, you have to go here into global filters. Within the, let's say, first, second, third panel, you click global filters here. And these are actually the filters you can add. So for example, if I open this drop-down list, we have these options for this particular page. But then obviously these options depend on whether or not you're at the attendance module, if you're at the budgets module. So it can be different from module by module, but there's always like a short list of features that we know are the most common that we allow our users to create. So yeah, that's how you get there.
So not all attributes. There is these predefined attributes or filters, and if you have some suggestions, we are happy to hear those. Thank you.
More than welcome.
We have another question just arrived from Yvonne Hübinger. Is this the price for upgrading our current EasyRedmine version or for a new start with EasyRedmine? Yes, EasyRedmine.com, EasyRedmine pricing. That's the pricing of EasyRedmine. There are both cloud and server version. Even we will be very happy to discuss exactly what's your needs, so we can quote the only necessarily plugins and so on. So ourselves will contact you. If you fill your email, we will contact you. Lukáš, please, Ivan Hibinger, and we will make you quote and clarify all the questions about your own server or or the cloud solution, whatever is needed.
Yep, Ivan, I will probably use the email address you used to register for this trial account. So just keep an eye on that one. I'm not sure if you used your personal one or company one, but I will reach out to you using that one.
But the question was if it is for upgrading or for start with from scratch. No, these prices are for if you purchase it from the scratch, right? This is what you see. If you have EasyRedmine already, you need only to have updates service. So so basically, Lukáš will calculate for you the updates which you need for 2019 version. So yeah, I'm maybe misunderstood that in the first place, but yes, this is the full price. The updates doesn't cost this money. Right. Yeah, now we understand each other. So we will calculate you the upgrade thing. Right. So I think this one is answered. Well, actually, Christopher, I will go back to this Christopher's question about export and re-import configuration because a lot of things has changed in this area as well. Now, for example, the dashboards can be exported and can be imported, right? So, for example, I'd say it's not only dashboards. Lukáš, you can help me here. Now it's a dashboards. It's a user type is also exportable, I think.
I'll take a look into the admin section.
So there was some progress in this area that for example, if you do, and Christopher is actually business consultant who is working with EasyRedmine and helping organizations to set up the EasyRedmine to get the most of it. So I completely understand this question. So definitely homepages, dashboards are exportable.
I think you're right, but I can't find it right now, so I just don't want to make 100% promises without seeing it.
Right. For that, you can also go to community.easyproject.com. EasyProject is our another product line for clients outside of the Redmine community, and there are quite some information how you can actually share different dashboards and settings and other export import features of the software configuration, because these things are shared for both products. Right. So it seems that we have no other question here. Well, okay, I have my video off. So in such case, I think we shall call it a day. I would like to really thank you all for coming to this webinar. It's a great honor to be today with you here. Hope this was helpful. Hope this proves that Easy Software is fully committed to keep bringing innovations, and we will. So you can expect another releases and other webinars with new cool features in probably 3 months from now. So please stay tuned, stay with EasyRedmine and Easy Software, and we were very happy to have this session with you today. Lukáš, thank you for presentation.
Thanks to you as well. Thanks for everyone joining. If you guys have any feedback on how we should be doing webinars in the future, for example, feel free to share your thoughts. Have a nice rest of Tuesday.
Yeah. Contact us on our contact addresses, info or sales@easyredmine.com, or our international numbers. The sales team here is ready to serve you and answer all your questions. It's our daily bread, so we will do so. Thank you everyone, and have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.